Hello, everyone, and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain. And today, still a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. Alright, so it's been a second year since I've played this. The last Franchise Hockey Manager 7 video that I made was a tutorial video, so it's been a little bit since I've touched my franchise here. We had a little bit of a disappointing showing in the playoffs. Eventually, we're going to go through maybe, but we keep hitting really good teams. So, we are July 1st, not a whole lot happened. Well, that stuff happened on July 1st here. Nothing happened prior to July 1st. We stopped the recording last time on June 28th. So we're going to go ahead and go through that. So that's all of the retiring that happened. So Glenn Anderson is done, 36 years old with the Rangers, 2-star player. He retired. Dave Annan with the Sens retired. He was 35 and a star and a half. Dale Chuck retired, 34 years old, 2.5-star player still. Kasatonov retired as well with the Kings, 37 years old, 2 stars. Konstantinov retired at 30, was still a 3-star player now. Keep in mind, when you play historical, recalc is on, and that must be when Konstantinov had his really tragic accident that basically, made him completely incapable of playing hockey anymore. So I guess that's why he retired now. Craig McTavish retired at 38, 2.5-star player. Still, Sergei Makarov was still with the Flames, retired at 39, 2.5-star player. Troy Murray was with the Blues. He retired at 34. He was a star and a half. Dan Quinn retired with Florida. He was 32 and a 2-star player. And Denis Savard also retired. He was 36 and a 2-star player. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So since it's July 1st, I made contract offers to all of my rookies that are 20 years old, knowing full and well that they are not all going to be making the team, but sometimes it's nice to have them under contract so that you can add them into a trade or something to sometimes make the trade happen, or sometimes for whatever reason the computer wants one of those players and they offer you something pretty decent in return. That also happens, although it's pretty rare, so that's also something that might happen. One thing that I want to also add is I am now fully, I believe, fully transferred over to my brand new computer and everything. I was still having some issues with sound here prior to shooting the video, so let me know if something sounds off or something like that. I run a little test and I couldn't hear anything weird or anything like that, but let me know, please. I always try to put out quality as much as I can, and if something sounds off, I kind of need to know that. Alright, so I had 42 contracts prior to offering all of those youngsters their first contract. That brought me to 48 because they're all going to sign. At least I think so, unless they change something on me. Which means that I've made one offer to one free agent. I looked at my depth chart and everything, and I like a lot of what I'm seeing. I don't think we have like a really crazy weakness anywhere, although I would like to get better pretty much everywhere. But yeah, I have a lot of contracts in the books, so and you can see right here who it is that I made an offer to. Actually, it was a player that I liked a lot. He played for a long time and he was pretty competitive, pretty good for most of his career. So Teppo Numinen, I am offering him a contract. Hopefully he's going to accept to come here. He did have a down season last season with 37 points, but he should still provide a pretty solid two-way play. So you guys that watched my tutorial video that I just made a few days ago, you know that I love my puck moving defensemen, my two-way players. I love those, so that's what Teppo Numminen should bring to the table. That's pretty much it. We're going to have the draft coming here pretty soon as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that and hopefully draft us somebody pretty good. But sadly, you know, with the kind of record we had and everything, we're going to draft pretty deep into the draft. Which doesn't mean we're not going to get a quality player. Just not a superstar, probably. And finally, last note, this is the time in history where the Hartford Whalers moved to Carolina. So we are now going to be seeing the Carolina Hurricanes instead of the Hartford Whalers. Always breaks my heart. Every time that I do an historical series, whenever I reach that part, it always breaks my heart. I really like the Hartford colors, the logo. I liked everything about that team. But anyway, alright, so the draft lottery is tomorrow. Oh god, there's a whole lot of stuff going. Okay. Alright, so, oh yeah, there's all those guys. And we do have Michael and Zeus. Oh god, Teppo Numminen signed right away. I didn't have to offer more money or anything like that. That's awesome. Right, so Mikael Samuelsson should be a decent player for us once he develops. Peter Buzek, I doubt that he's going to get to even a star and a half, but if he does, he can help as a 7th defenseman or a call-up. I have no idea who this guy is, but, you know, he has a star and a half potential. Vili Nieminen, not to be confused with Vili Peltonen, because I know I do sometimes. Oh, there's been a trade here between the Devils and the Canucks. So Brian Skrulin goes to the Devils and Troy Mallette goes to the Canucks. All right. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's a pretty even trade. I mean, the Devils get a center that's pretty good defensively. Canucks get kind of an energy player that can fight, and you know, he is younger. I guess Skrulin is probably a little bit better, to be honest. Then there's been a trade between the Oilers and the Devils. So Yevgeny Namestnikov is going to the Devils for Randy McKay. Alright, so Randy McKay, oh wow. Oh no, that was in the AHL. Okay, I looked at those stats and I was like, "Wow, 33 goal season." But yeah, that was in the AHL. Yeah, Randy McKay kind of had a few okay seasons as he grew older in real life and everything. So I don't know how that's gonna pan out for the Oilers there. And then Yevgeny Namestnikov here is. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's younger and everything. I'm not too sure about him. All right. Oh, there's been oh dear God. The Sharks made a pretty good trade here. All right, so the Sharks traded Tim Sweeney and a 6th round draft pick to Pittsburgh for Miroslav Shatan and Todd Nelson. So forget the 6th round draft pick and Todd Nelson. Tim Sweeney for Miroslav Shatan. Yeah, the Pittsburgh got fleeced here. And now Pittsburgh is offering us something. They are offering us Todd Simpson for Mike Greer. And I will say no to that. And Philadelphia is offering us Andreas Lilia for Brent Gretzky. Oh, I might say yes to that. Now, Lilia was never like a great defenseman, but he was a serviceable defenseman that was able to play in the NHL. Play for Detroit. I believe he played for the Kings as well. I guess I can check. Yeah, he did. All right, so he started with the Kings and played for Detroit, which is where I remembered him the most from. So he did play like what a good 11 years in the NHL, something like that. So not too shabby. I mean, but he wasn't like a guy that's gonna put up points or anything like that. So, I mean, I don't really have room for Brent Gretzky on the team, so I think I'm going to make that trade actually. So I'm gonna get Andreas Lilia, and I'm going to send Brent Gretzky to the Flyers. There you go. All right. You guys know I always like to have some depth on D, so there we go. Alright, so today is the draft lottery, so let's see who wins the lottery. So far in every season, it's always been like in the same order here, so let's see here. Alright, so Toronto, Phoenix, Ottawa, Buffalo. Yeah, still in the same order. Alright, so the Sharks are going to draft first, then Anaheim, Washington, Carolina, Calgary, New York Islanders, Buffalo, Ottawa, Phoenix, and Toronto. Alright, so the draft order is not correct here, or is it? It might be now. They might have fixed it. Alright, so if we do draft 16th, that's not too bad, but I think it might be wrong. I guess we're about to find out. Alright, so those guys are getting more ready to be feeling better with the team. Alright, so Alexei Kudashov was bought out by Chicago. Detroit bought out Peter Draisaitl, not Leon. It's Peter. Oh, Mike Knuble. Huh. I might look into that. Oh my god, really? So the Flyers traded Andreas Lilia to me for Brent Gretzky, and then they bought Brent Gretzky out. Okay. Whatever. Jim Pake was bought out by the Pens. Mike Rossetti was bought out by Buffalo. Garth Snow bought out by Colorado. Chris Luongo was bought out by the Suns. Yeah, he's pretty much at that point of his career. Blair Chinham and Ottawa part ways. And Igor Shibarev also was bought out by Anaheim. Alright, so we still have those guys that haven't signed. Pretty sure they will, but... Oh, Luongo, Thornton, oh, that's that year. I wish I could get Marian Osa. One of my favorites. If you've watched my Sens series last year, you know that already. Alright, so... Marian Osa went first, and he went to the Sharks. Anaheim picks Roberto Luongo. Joe Thornton goes to the Capitals. Patrick Marleau goes to Carolina. Calgary picks Brendan Morrow. Olli Jokinen was chosen by the Islanders, which I believe that's who they picked that year as well, and then they traded him to Florida or something. Buffalo picks Eric Brewer. Ottawa Senators pick Andrei Markov. Phoenix gets Eric Cole. Toronto Maple Leafs get Pascal Dupuis. Sergei Samsonov goes to Vancouver. Yeah, 16 is our right, is the spot that we are picking at. Brian Campbell goes to Florida. Boston picks Sean Horkoff. The Kings get Brian Gionta. The Blackhawks get Jason Schimmer, and it's our turn. All right. So what do we have in terms of potential left here? So we have Christian Uzelius, Paul Mara, and Scott Annan. Oh, dear God. What about in terms of ability? Oh, Dan Cleary is the only one. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, Uzelius... Uzelius never really panned out in real life. Paul Mara was serviceable, but not a great defenseman, and yeah. I guess I'm gonna go with Christian Uzelius, but I don't have a lot of hope for him. Alright, so yeah, from now on I'm just gonna do pick until human. Ruslan Fedotenko, hey, he played in Tampa Bay, maybe I should pick him up. I'm picking up Ruslan Fedotenko. That makes sense to me. Alright, who do we have here? So, Jamie Pollock, alright, Peter Shaslivy, Camille Piroge, sorry. Nikolai Pronin, Sasha Gotch, Matthias Tarnquist, Serge Payet, Burke Henry. Oh my God. Oh, who to get? I'm gonna get Sasha Gotch. Risky pick. I've seen him develop before, too, so we'll see. Alright, oh. Okay, so I can get Peter Shaslivy, which was a guy that the Sens had in real life. I guess I'll pick him just because of that. There you go. Alright, and now it's like, whatever. I'm gonna go with whatever name I'm familiar with. So Chris Bala, I remember that guy. Yuri Bisek as well. And they're not scouted too, so it's like whatever. I'm gonna go with Chris Bell only because that's pretty much the only name that I recognize here. Oh, there were two Peter Sikoras, so that's not the one that played for the Devils and had a decent career. That's the other one. Yeah, at that point, I really don't know, so the AI can pick for me. We got Makoto Kawashima. Cool. We're getting woke before it's even a thing. Alright. Yeah, I don't recognize any of those guys, so the AI can pick again. Bo Nordby Tranholm. Oh boy, who are you? Okay, again. There you go. Ilya Demidov. And we're done. Alright, good stuff, good stuff. Alright. Oh, so I had one of the best drafts, apparently. I think it's kind of random. So apparently the Flyers did good with Efinagenov, Adam Mayer, Patrick Rismeller, Barry, Dome, Green, Dicas, Miro, and Pousset. Le Petit Pousset. Ah! Capitals with Joe Thornton, Henrik Tallender, Chernesky, Lakos, Reich, Mika Gustafsson, and Stutzel. Alright. It remains to be seen. Hey, Peter Buzek sign. That's good. Guren signed and Michael Anzus signed, so that's good. Anzus is going to be a good player for us here, hopefully shortly. Alright, so all of our young players signed, so now it's just a matter of pressing the continue button quite a bit and then stopping when we see stuff like that. So there's been a trade between Anaheim and Vancouver. Alright, so Anaheim sends Igor Matsushkin and the rights to Dmitry Starostenko to Vancouver for Gary Volk and the rights to Vladimir Tarasov. Yeah, I think that Anaheim got the best player. Even though Gary Volk wasn't exactly a superstar or anything like that. Alright, so another trade between Phoenix and Anaheim. Martin Ulrich is going to the Mighty Ducks for Luke Richardson. Alright. So Luke Richardson is now with Phoenix. Alright, barbecue too hot to handle for Miller. Kelly Miller was trying to make some hot dogs and he hurt himself. That was the barbecue injury of this summer. There's always one every year. Which is fine. It's not at the point where in last version there was always somebody getting hurt helping a friend move every month or something. That was a little ridiculous. And they fixed it eventually. Oh, wow, Anaheim is busy on the trade front, so they made a trade with Dallas this time. So Tommy Jacobson and Michel Larocque are going to Anaheim for Yanni Oyanen and Alexander Smirnov. Not a big trade here. Not a trade that's going to go down as an impact trade in history, more than likely. All right. Alright, so apparently we are now considered to be strong in net and in defense because they still haven't fixed that. So they're showing that as weaknesses, but that's my strengths, or at least I think it is. Yep, I apparently have a weakness at center, and I traded Jason Allison because I'm like that. That was risky. Oh. Anaheim wants to trade with me. They are offering me Dale Rominski for Jason Marshall. Gonna have to say no, champ. No, thank you. Oh, Hall of Fame induction. Alright. Rod Langway got in. Rogatien Vachon got in. Butch Goring got in. And Dennis Marouk got in. And now they're telling me again here that they did. Coach report on new players. Alright, that's fine. Now I should have 49 contracts, right? Yep. I still can do math. Who would have thought that? Alright, so we're going to try to go pretty fast here, and then we're going to do the preseason. Hopefully we are going to see some good improvements there. Well, pretty uneventful month of August in the NHL this year. Alright, so we are starting preseason soon here. So those guys are getting a little bit more used to the team. Alright, so I think that's the part where I have to recall everybody. I don't know why I haven't been doing that way. I mean, I've been doing it the wrong way for a very, very, very long time. I'm not sure why. I guess I'm weird. It's a lot easier to do it that way. It's still, you know, one by one, but... Yeah, I have a lot of D. Not a whole lot of forwards in case we have injuries and everything. Don't have a whole lot of spares there. I like to load up on D. That's always been my thing. I like me some choice on defense. I did draft a lot of forwards this year, though. So we're going to get some help there regarding that. Oh, look at Shulga, he's unhappy. There you go. You're probably going to be happy. You're going to get to play some NHL games in the preseason. Ugh. Right after I said that Michael Anzus might be important for our team in the near future, there he is coming out of shape in training camp, and I have to be upset at him. Alright, so he's a young player. I don't want to completely shatter his confidence, so I'm gonna just criticize him internally. You have criticized him internally. Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, so some preseason action here is about to happen with our somewhat revamped team. I have a few new faces in the ways of young players, and then of course Teppo Numminen was eager to join the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're about to play against the Sharks here, so let's take a look at what the Sharks look like right now. So there's definitely some talent there. Alright, so in net it's going to be Arthur Irbe and Mark Fitzpatrick. Brad Warnka, Paul Coffey signed with... I saw Paul Coffey as a free agent, but he's a little up there in age. So Paul Coffey signed with San Jose. That's weird. Mike Ratchie, Jason Moore, John Roloff, and Rob Zettler on D. Johan Garpenlov, Ray Whitney, Kuznetsov, Jason Allison that we traded to them, Pavel Datsyuk, Gusmanov, Sullivan, Stantien, Koreshkov, Daniel Alfredson, Berquist, Falloon, Ferraro, Chotan, and Virta. They're starting to build a team there. Now, they're not quite there yet. There's still, you know, some weaknesses, but they got some vets in here. They have some young players that can play, so they're starting to get a team put together, and they have decent goaltending, so you never know. All right. So Arthur's Irbe is going to be in net for San Jose, and we are going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. Of course, I am not doing my lines anymore. I got a little bit tired of swapping players every time there was a day-to-day injury. So I have the good old, well, God rest his soul. I have John Muckler as my coach. All right, well, go Lightning, go. Well, it starts with a tie, 2-2. We couldn't tell who was the best here. And San Jose outshot us 35-17. Valerie Bourré was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Brad Warenko was the second star with an assist. And German Titov was the third star with an assist for us as well. So it was in Tampa Bay. We had 12,605 people in attendance for this game. Nobody scored in the first. Actually, nobody scored in the second either. There was a fight between Sandis Ozolinsh and Brad Warenko, former teammates. I don't like to see Sandis Ozolinsh getting into a fight. Then in the third period, San Jose scored first, and then Steve Ruchin scored from Bill Guerin. Then San Jose scored again, and then Valerie Bourré scored from German Titov and Teppo Numinen. Tied at 2, and of course nobody scored in overtime, so this is a tie. Dynamic passing leads to productive night for Neil Broughton, who is now with Montreal. He had 4 assists against the Canucks in a preseason game, and Ron Francis with Pittsburgh is listed as day-to-day, so he should be back just fine for the start of the regular season. So if there's Pens fans watching this, worry not, Ron Francis should be fine. And we are going to be playing our next preseason game right now in Carolina against the freshly moved Carolina Hurricanes. Alright, so Carolina has Sean Burke and Chris Osgood in net. That's pretty solid. No problems then. Dan Kesmer, Zardy Zalewski, Brian McCabe, Eric Weinrich, James Patrick, Adam Burt, Oleg Tverdovsky, Chris Bartolone, and Jeff Brown. I also saw him. That's funny. I saw Jeff. I tried to trade for Jeff Brown, 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't get him. And he was finally available as a free agent, but I went for Teppo Numinen. I think Teppo Numinen is a little bit of a more complete defenseman. Jeff Brown might be a little bit better offensively, but Numinen should be more rounded. Murray Craven, Karpov, Poulin, Modine, Marleau, Petrovicki, Castles, Jensen's, Sanderson, Doan, McCarty, and Mogar. So not an incredible team here. Not a lot of true weaknesses either. They're not great, but they're not terrible. We're going to send Jeff Hackett in net for that one. They are sending Chris Osgood. We lost 7-2. Of course, we're the only team bringing all the young ones and everything to play. We were outshot 47-24. Jeff Brown was the first star of the game with 3 assists. Sandy Mogar was the second star with 3 assists. And James Patrick was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so Carolina scored twice in the first period. They were up 2-0. Then they scored twice in the second period as well. It was 4-0. Mikael Anderson scored in the second from Brian Bradley and Mike Greer. It was 4-1. Then Carolina scored 3 more goals before the end of the second period, and it was 7-1 after 2. And then in the third period, Mikael Anderson scored the second goal of the game from Ed Jovanovski and Sean Chambers, and it was a 7-2 trouncing against the Carolina Hurricanes. All right. We have a day off, and then we're going to be playing in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. All right, so Toronto. Who do you have on your lineup? Ooh, all right. So Mika Nieminen is hurt. He's gonna miss 1 to 2 weeks. He's not gonna play, and Sylvain Lefebvre is unfit. Very uncharacteristic of him. Who do you have in net? Grand Fuhr, Felix Potvin, that's fine. Todd Gill, Volk, the guy whose name I cannot pronounce. I guess it's Volk. It's like Martin Ferk, right? The last name is 3 consonant. So, yeah, Brian Berard, Anders Eriksson, Dave Ellett, Sylvain Lefebvre, Dmitry Mironov on D. That's a decent D. It's not like crazy great, but it's not too bad. Wendell Clark, Yannick Perrault, Zemlichka, Sarmatin, Rudeman, Eastwood, Gilmore, Hendrickson, Manderville, York, Arnott, Barchevsky, Larionov, and Sacco. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher up front for the Leafs. Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us, and Grant Fuhr is going to be in net for the Leafs. And we lost 3-1. We are still winless here in preseason. I don't worry about it too much. Again, we are the only team bringing a bunch of not so talented players. We did outshoot Toronto 32-28. Joe Sacco was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Alexander Mogilny was the second star with a goal. And Yannick Perrault was the third star with a goal as well. Let's see here. So Toronto scored first in the second period. Then we tied the game. Alexander Mogilny scored on the power play from Adrian Aucoin and Marc Bergevin. It was tied at 1 after 2. And then Toronto scored twice in the third period. And of course, we lost 3-1. Oh, Sergei Fedorov is out of the lineup. He is day-to-day, so he is fine, or he will be fine soon. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Eric Desjardins with Montreal. Another defenseman I tried on multiple occasions to trade for, and it didn't work. So he got 4 assists against Pittsburgh. I'm totally fine with the player that I have right now. Teppo Niminen should be good. Alright, now the Flames are in town. Let's see what's over here. Mike Vernon and Trevor Kidd in net. Alright, so Vernon should be still pretty good. Oh, Sandy McCarty is hurt. He's not going to play. Jurkis Baka is on D with Bouchard, Suter, O'Sullivan, Dahl, Ad McInnes, Michel Petit, and Dmitry Yuskevich. Alright. Colasar, Ranheim, Gary Roberts, Corey Sullivan, Brad Larson, Joe Nieuwendyk, Robert Reichel, Shakraichuk, Harvey, Stuck, Fleury, McCarthy, and Stern. Yeah, there's a lot of holes in that lineup. I don't like that lineup much. Thankfully, it's not mine. Trevor Kidd is going to be in net for the Flames. We are going to go ahead and send Jeff Hackett. And we lost 2-1. We are unable to win in preseason. That's okay. We're keeping all of the W's for the regular season. I like it. We outshot the Flames 39-24. Theo Fleury was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Hans Janssen was the second star for us with a goal. And Trevor Kidd was the third star with 38 saves. Yeah, lots of penalties in the first period. Then in the second period, the Flames finally scored. It was 1-0 Calgary after 2. Hans Janssen tied the game from Valerie Bourré and Steve Richin. It was tied at 1, but then a little bit later, Kevin Dahl scored for Calgary, giving the win 2-1. Pat Falloon has a great game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists. Pretty good against Carolina. And Ray Whitney in the same game had a pretty good game as well. 2 goals and 4 assists. Wow. So we have 3 preseason games left. First one here is going to be in Edmonton. No injuries in Edmonton. Alright, so Bill Ranford and Sulander are the goaltenders. Dave Manson, Sikora, Woolley, Lavins, Witt, Joseph, Smith on D. Not a great D. Corson, Gilchrist, Morrow, Tikanen, Bertuzzi, Maltby, Beranek, Hunter, Tucker, Buckberger, Mellenby, Joe Murphy, Rice, and Randy McKay up front. Wow, they have a thematic there. They have a lot of big bodies up front. A lot of rugged and big bodies up front. Probably not fun to play against. Nikolai Bibolin in net for us. Harry Surlander in net for the Oilers. And it's a tie. 3-3. The losing finally stops. But we still haven't won, though. All right, so 39 shots for us, 34 for Edmonton. Randy Mackey was the first star with 2 goals. Ryan Smith was the second star with a goal, and Dale Hunter was the third star with an assist. So Edmonton scored first in the first period, and Ryan Smith scored on the power play from Bill Guerin and Miloslav Guran. It was tied at 1 here after 1. Then in the second period, Mark Bergevin scored on the power play from Alexander McGillney. Then Edmonton tied the game at 2. We scored. Brian Bradley scored from Mikael Anderson, made it 3-2. But then Edmonton tied the game again at 3. We went into the third period. Oh, there was a fight between Darcy Tucker and Ryan Smith. And in the third period, nobody could score. And nobody could score in overtime either. So we have a 3-3 tie. Alright, so Jason Allison is hurt. He's going to miss 3 months due to a ruptured foot tendon. See, that's why I traded him. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't. I can't predict the future. If I could, I would be rich. Big game for Yannick Perreault. 3 goals. He had a hat-trick against the Mighty Ducks, so pretty good game. And now we are hosting my most favorite team to hate on, the Montreal Canadiens. Alright, so I saw you have an injury down there. It's Eric Daze, he's hurt. So Patrick Roy and Fadeev in net. As long as you have Roy in net, you should be fine. Lilo Deline, Matthew Schneider, Jay Mickey, Eric Messi, Patrice Brisebois, Eric Desjardins, and Sean Hill on D. The D is decent for sure. Donald Brashear, Benoit Brunet, John Leclerc, Brian Savage, Neil Broughton, Vincent Afus, Pellier Clun, Kirk Muller, Pascal Réaume, Brian Bellows, Eric Daze, Mike Keane, Oleg Petrov, and Alex Selivanov up front. Not the best team, but Patrick Roy sure can steal some games for their team. So Patrick Roy is in net here for Montreal. We're going to go with Abby Boulin for that one. And we lost 3-0. Wow. We were outshot 34-32. Patrick Roy first star with 32 saves. Brian Bellows second star with a goal. And John Leclerc third star with a goal as well. 12,731 people couldn't even cheer for a single goal for their team for that one. Alright, so Montreal scored goals. We didn't. Not a whole lot to look at. There were no fights. So, alright, and we have one last preseason game here to try and save face against the Buffalo Sabres. That's our last chance to actually win a preseason game here. So let's take a look at them. Now we know they don't have Dale Howard-Chuck anymore. He just retired, but I'm sure they have other good players. So Matthias Olum is not playing. He is on injured reserve. Alright, so of course Dominik Hasek in net is pretty much the best goaltender as far as I'm concerned that to have played in the NHL. And he's still a 5-star player, so he's good. Yegorov is the backup. Corey Cross, Bill Wilder, Al Iafrate, Grant Ledyard, Doug Bodger, Keith Carney, John Slaney, and Peter Svoboda on D. Not a whole lot of puck movers there. Svoboda, I guess, could be considered a little bit of a puck mover, but other than that, it's, I mean, you have Al Iafrate with the big slapper, but yeah. Then Dave Andreychuk, Bill Berg, Brad May, Steve Sullivan, whom we traded to the Buffalo Sabres. For McGillney, Rob Zamuner, Jay Pandolfo, Jason Weimer, Biggs, Olzinger, LaFontaine, Capuche, Audit, and Duh up front. So Pat LaFontaine is still there. He didn't retire, so he's still going to be playing. Oh yeah, that should be his last season. Since there's recalc and yeah. Alright, let's see if we can beat the Sabres. Oh, whoa, what am I doing? What's going on? Alright, Jeff Hackett in net for us. Dominik Hasek in net for the Buffalo Sabres. And we won 2-1. Look at us saving face. We finally won a game in preseason. So we're off the schneid. Alright, so Tampa Bay, 47 shots, Buffalo 25. Dominic Hasek, first star despite the loss, 45 saves. That's pretty good. John Slaney was the second star with a goal, and Bobby Elick for us was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so Buffalo scored first in the second period, then Bobby Elick tied a game from Steve Richin, and then Ryan Smith, really early in the third period, 6 seconds in, scored on the power play from Vili Peltonen and Bobby Elick, and it was a 2-1 victory. And it was a memorable night for Denis Afinogenov, not to be confused with Maxim, I suppose. Alright, 3 goals and an assist for Dennis, playing for the Blues. Alright, so we are ready here for the next season, which is going to be 1997-1998. Again, please let me know if something is weird or seems off. I'm looking at that sound bar on the recording software, and it looks lower than it used to be on my other computer. There might not be a difference. I have the same settings set for it. Maybe it's dependent on the computer, so let me know if I'm too quiet or something like that. I'll try and fix that. So I'm counting on you guys to let me know about that kind of stuff. Other than that, I think we're pretty much ready to wrap it up here for today. So we're gonna go ahead and save the game. And of course, I do want to thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.